Well, good afternoon, everyone. Happy pre-Easter break. Mark, can you mute? I can hear myself there we go. Happy pre-Easter break. We're sure looking forward to a break, I'm sure, after all the weather we've had this winter. But anyway, I want to talk to you today about um, a relatively new web-based site that's out there is called Newsela. It's actually been around since June 2013. It is uh, it's an awesome site. There's lots of talk about it. We've heard we were at a conference here not too long ago, and there was all sorts of hype and buzz over this site. So what it basically is, in a nutshell, is it's a place where you can hopefully build reading comprehension with nonfiction reading for students. And the idea is that you're using relevant daily news as your nonfiction writing and to share with students. And in a nutshell, it is to the site actually creates versions of the same story, and it uses actually different reading levels. Now, when I did a little bit of research as to what the reading levels were, I concluded that they were approximately grades 5 to 12. And I guess it varies a little bit. One place said they were a little bit lower than that. But in fact, they do try to give you what the reading level would be for each article. However, I mean, obviously, sometimes we know that reading levels aren't always accurate. So then the question comes up, why? Why would this be such an awesome site? Well, first of all, nonfiction, if you've ever taught language arts, you know that nonfiction is, in fact, a very difficult thing to get your hands on, especially nonfiction that is appropriate for students and also for readability level and high interest and so on. I guess the thing is that in the past, the way news has been used in our classroom is it's been used as a means of, having students, for example, maybe bring in news articles and them do current events in their classroom, like in social studies or whatever. But, to be honest with you, as you well know, there's fewer and fewer newspapers that are out there. In fact, most of the things are found online now, and people are getting their news in a completely different way. I guess I think back to when I was a kid. In the evenings, it was time for us to sit down and watch the news. We did that as a family. There was only one television, and that was all there was to it. I know I'm kind of dating myself, but what's happening now, of course, is families aren't watching the news as a family, and consequently people are getting their own news via personal means. What that does is that eliminates to some extent some of that background knowledge that kids would be getting from perhaps being at home with their parents or at their grandparents or whatever and watching the news. So consequently, the idea of Newsela is to create literacy across the curriculum with different topic areas, and I'll show you what some of those are, and to hopefully develop sophisticated readers so that when they grow and learn and all that stuff, they can generate their own curiosity and become deep critical thinkers, which of course is what our goal would be for education, period. I think sometimes, kids think that news is for old people and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully the idea is to get them into that, to get them to believe that they can be comfortable and can be contributors with some serious journalism, I guess. The way the Newsela works, and I'll show you a little bit of the program here. It's not that complicated, but the the news articles themselves are not actually news articles right directly out of the New York Times or the National Post or whatever. They're actually the news stories, but have been rewritten by Jennifer Coogan, who's one of the developers of Newsela, and her team. So they actually take real news stories and rewrite them, and they therefore incorporate vocabulary that would be appropriate for students, and also they also incorporate in there, which wouldn't be in there normally, the background knowledge that students might need in order to understand the story. I mentioned as well that they don't do every news story. They only do the ones that they think are going to be high interest for students, because of the fact that they are that's their goal, is to try to create interest in news and nonfiction. So this is Newsela. It is it's free, actually. The basic account is free. It has stories in War and Peace, science, kids, money, law, health, arts, and etc. I think you'll probably find just about anything in there. And maybe what I'll do right now is I'll just get to the actual site itself. Oh, there it is. Now I can say that you can create an account. It's really easy to do, and you can also sign in with your Google account as well. I guess the one thing that when I brought up this page, I was like, oh, Obama. So yeah, of course it is. It is U.S., so it does have a lot of American content. However, I mean, there's certainly things on there that you can find that's not necessarily just American. So one of the things that you might, a teacher would do, would be to scroll through maybe some of the information that's located. All of these are stories that you can click on and use. I thought this one was interesting. I thought this would be a neat thing for maybe middle school or even elementary kids, older elementary kids. This one's on schools looking for ways to stop students from tossing their lunch. So when you have an account, you can click on it. You can actually read the story. Here are the different levels. So when I click on the maximum, you can see right here that it's a grade 12 level. It originally came from the Los Angeles Times, and it talks about how $1 billion or whatever is wasted every day from kids not eating their lunch. And then you can click on and adjust the reading level by choosing a different level here. You can see over on the side. So this is grade 8, and the lowest level one for this particular article is, let me see, grade 3. Now, you have access to all of this as in your free account. So if I were a teacher and maybe I was doing some stations or whatever with my literacy circles or whatever I was doing with my kids, then I would probably choose the kids don't know what levels they are, which is wonderful. And then you can pass those out to the students and they can still answer and be part of the discussion as everyone else would be. There are quizzes and that kids can go through and answer the question based on the article, which is cool. And if you have a pro account for teachers, you can actually keep track of each student. So you can input the students themselves and then keep track of what they're, how well they're doing or whatever it happens to be. Now, I guess the thing is, though, as I'm sure all of you are probably wondering, is, what does that involve and how much does it cost? Oh, I meant to show you this part before I clicked off that one article. Just get back there. So the quiz is there, but if I couldn't afford the pro account, which I probably couldn't. By the way, there's a big bunch of flack, I guess, that's just coming out about Newsela because of the fact that they just increased their prices for the pro accounts. Or like everything else, sometimes businesses start out with things free and then they say, okay, it's going to cost you to use this program if you input classes and so on. That's exactly what's happened with Newsela, actually, just over the last week or so. But just the same, I guess, for me as a teacher, I think, well, there's got to be something I can do here so I can use this resource. And when I click on the print icon, I can get the article at the level that I chose, and I could print it from there. Now, we don't like that kind of thing. As technology mentors, we'd like to be able to have it all electronically, but just the same, I could print it, or I could perhaps do something to get it into a digital form so I could post it on my website or do something else along those lines more in a digital way. You notice that the quiz is also there as well at the appropriate grade level that you chose to print it from or to use. So that's kind of a neat, I mean, to me, it was just like, oh, bonus. I've gone around and presented this this along with some other things to other teachers, and they're just so excited about the fact that there's actually nonfiction material that's out there that can be used, and that someone's already sort of done the legwork, if you will. If I just go to Newsela, when I go to sign in, it gives me a little bit of information about it here, actually. I don't know if I could spell. About Newsela. This would be the page that you would actually get when you first sign in. And it gives you some information about the plans and so on. Wendy was here earlier today and she looked it up. It seems to be a little bit out of reach for what we would be wanting to pay. However, if schools were interested, it would be something. Now, when I say it's out of reach, I think she had told me it was $18 per student for a year. So that's quite hefty, but you never know if you get using it and think that it would be something that you could use. That would be great. Now, the beauty of the Pro account is that it has a few more options in that you can directly send the assignments to your students and assign them to them. So when the kids go on and sign on to your Newsela account, they actually have a dashboard and they have all the materials there that you've assigned them. So you're not printing anything or doing any of those kinds of things. I guess for me as a New Brunswick teacher, I think the option is that I actually have a source that I can get nonfiction writing, and something that is quite often a task that teachers are not, have difficulty trying to find, and they're really high interest sorts of things written with students in mind. So I certainly think it's well worth a look and a try, and I encourage you to sign in, get a free account, play around with it, and see what you can do with it. That's about it for Newsela. If anyone has any questions or...
So this is completely free as long as they don't take it to, I guess like it says the slogan on the website here, take it to the next level with Pro, right?
Right, exactly. Yep.
Okay, well, great. It's a little shorter than the 20 minutes, but no one is going to complain about that.
I don't think so.
No, so thank you very much for your time, Janice.
And, you're welcome.
And hope to see everyone next week.
Exactly. Happy Easter.
Yes, happy Easter, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, Janice. Take care.